they don't even like talking about or saying the name out loud. You know what I mean? They strongly believe that it's a curse just saying the word
Wow.
the name of the skinwalker out loud. It's a very touchy situation with them because they honestly do believe in the skinwalkers, and they don't even want to, especially if they're shamans. Like, they're still shamans in their tribes, and they don't believe that you should even speak the name of the skinwalker.
I was about to say, look, they done got you now. You're not speaking the name.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not an Indian. They don't want to eat no fat Indian or no fat white boy. They want those fat Indians. So.
So I wonder if that's all they eat too, or would they feed on other cultures? See, there's a lot of questions.
There's been stories. I mean, I've heard some pretty good cryptids, man, where people have talked about the skinwalkers, and they don't discriminate. They'll eat whatever they can, or I shouldn't say eat, because actually I'm getting it mixed up now too. I'm talking about the freaking Wendigo, and we're talking about the skinwalkers now. So, but yeah, they don't discriminate, the Wendigos or the skinwalkers. There's a lot of cool podcasts on the skinwalkers that tell stories about them too, and a lot of it is creepypasta. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of good stories in it where people supposedly have sent their message or stories in, and they're being read. But I'm not here. It's not my place to say if they're real or not. You know what I mean? So,
right.
I mean, but there is cool stories that you can hear about them. So, and to be honest, what they say there, I'm not really quite sure on exactly how they do classify the skinwalkers, because I know it does have to do with shape-shifting, and it does have to do with wearing raggedy clothes, and they also are portrayed as witches and stuff like that. But even the way they behave is real animalistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this link pulled me up to Dogman. This isn't the Skywalker.
Dogman is next, so don't worry about all that.
I thought I was going to see the picture.
That's the good stuff. Dogman. Now, I know that like a lot of people have said that these skinwalkers also can put a curse on you, and it'll make you deathly sick. And the only way for you to get away from that curse is you have to have a Navajo shaman come and do rituals on you to help you, because like after 2 or 3 days you'll end up freaking breaking up out into fevers and stuff, and you'll die eventually. Like, they make claims that people actually die because they're cursed by the skinwalker. What do you think about that? Huh? I think she's gone quiet.
Oh. I dropped you.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Okay. So, animals associated with witchcraft usually include tricksters such as the coyote. However, it may include other creatures. So, usually those associated with death or bad omens.
See, and they say that owls can be, and you were saying that people saw owls whenever before they got abducted, and they said owls can be a sign of good luck unless you see them during the day, in which they're a sign of bad luck and associated with bad stuff coming. So, hey.
Mm-hmm. Now, they might also possess living animals or people and walk around in their bodies. So that would probably be where the skinwalkers term come from, because they can also possess the bodies of animals and people. Skinwalkers may be male or female. Skinwalker stories told among Navajo children may be complete life and death struggles with that end in either skinwalkers or in either skinwalker or Navajo killing the other, or partial encounter stories that end in a stalemate. Encounter stories may be composed as Navajo victory stories, with the skinwalkers approaching a Hogan and being scared again. And a Hogan is the primary traditional dwelling of the Navajo people.
A Hogan?
Yeah.
And I want to see one of these. I don't know what a Hogan is.
I can pull it up for you. Here we go.
Hogan. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh, they're like little hut thingies. Oh, you know what they look like?
Huh.
Those little cabins that... Oh, no. They didn't. Those were made out of stone. These things are different. I thought they looked like those things we were looking at in Turkey that one time.
No, I did learn something else about these structures, and all structures when it comes to the Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it interesting. According to their shaman beliefs, the direction of where the door is facing also determines if the shaman is practicing good magic or if they're practicing bad magic. I forgot which direction the door is supposed to be.
Of course, the next question. That's wild, really?
Uh-huh.
See, I know that certain people pray to like the east and to the west and stuff like that, and that like matters to certain cultures. But I never even thought about having your doorway made in a certain way to determine whether or not it was good or bad. That's crazy.
Yeah. But
imagine not knowing what side you're supposed to have the door on, and you put it on the wrong side, and everyone thinks you're evil. You're like, no, I'm really afraid. Yeah, right. We see your door, buddy. We see your door. I'm not clear.
So, now, non-native interpretations of skinwalker stories typically take the form of partial encounter stories on the road, where the protagonist is temporarily vulnerable, but then escapes from the skinwalker in a way traditionally seen in Navajo stories. Sometimes Navajo children take European folk stories and substitute skinwalkers for generic killers like the Hook.
The Hook?
Yeah.
Like the Captain Hook movie that was kind of scary?
The Hook, or the Hookman, is an urban legend about a killer with a pirate-like hook for a hand attacking a couple in a parked car. So, okay, I see what it is. Like the old folklore where two lovers go to Lookout Mountain or Lover's Lane, and they hear the story of a serial killer who just broke out of an insane asylum.
And the next thing you know, he's attacking them.
And then all of a sudden they hear this weird noise scraping the side of the car, and they become frightened, and they grab the keys and turn the ignition on and take off, only to find out that there's blood with a hook sticking in the side of the car.
Hey, save that juice for tomorrow, man. What are you doing? Man, what?
That's the Hook. The Hook. But yeah. Now, the traditional stories that I hear in creepypasta does go according to like what they're saying, except for like usually what happens is a person in a car is sitting out in the desert, or they're driving along the desert, and the ones that are sitting out in the desert sees the skinwalker and then tries to run away, and the person that's driving drives past them, and they see the skinwalker. Then they start noticing in their rear view mirror that the skinwalker is running fast and catching up to their vehicle.
I mean, I'm just picturing it. Do you see it when they ride by the guy? Like, no, there's a skinwalker, and he just keeps going like, who cares? And the next thing you know, you see the skinwalker, and you're like slow motion looking at it, like, what is that? And you keep driving, and the next thing you know, it's like coming right for you. That's insane. I don't know. I probably grab
Now,
it too.
sometimes they incorporate the red eyes, which is a part of the freaking dogman, which I believe you should do that one. You should read this one. So that
Okay,
I can...
give me 30 seconds. I have to wash my hands.
Okay. So this is actually the good stuff. This is the dogman. I don't know how good the article is, but I know that this is the good stuff.
We're saying that the dogmen incorporate the red eyes because, they would usually.
Well, the dogmen are the red eyes. This is like, imagine werewolves, except for when you get bit, you don't turn into a werewolf.
You just keep yourself, and then you have like kind of crazy looking features.
I don't want to give away.
The dogman is one of the most popular cryptoids today, and I can't blame people for liking it. Personally, the Beast of Bray Road is my favorite. Why a cryptoid is deciding to hang around a random road, I don't understand, but I find it extremely funny. But there are a good reason why a lot of people have their doubts about the creature. It's possibly our best example of a cryptoid that was invented. If you look in, I don't even know something like this existed. If you look in cryptozoology, books prior to the 1980s, you won't see any reference to the dogman. That's because there wasn't a dogman. The origins of dogman as a legend really traces back to 1987. Oh wow, that's interesting. I just think it's funny. It's like, so when did they come? Really? Oh, okay. And it's like, she's here. Oh man. Oh boy. Okay. When a radio DJ named Steve Cook aired a song he created called The Legend. Oh yeah, it really was. Anyway, the song was actually an April Fool's Day hoax. Steve had completely made the stories contained in the song up. However, after he premiered the song, he began to receive reports from listeners claiming that they too have seen the creature. That's where the legend of the dogman began. And today, we receive hundreds of reports of the creature. So the dogman really sprang up after a hoax song that people took seriously, not because of a history of genuine sightings. Even a cryptoid like Bigfoot, one that many people are skeptical about, has a much greater history to their sighting. The late author, Linda Godfrey, who has probably done the most research into dogmen reports of anyone alive, only started her research in 1991. Over 4 years after the song was released, side note, her books are pretty good whether or not you believe in dogmen and other cryptids. In fact, Wikipedia lists several sightings that were made up by the song in its article. But what about the very few sightings that came before the song? I think the ones before the song can be pretty easily explained as a combination of werewolf legends and folklore stories. Either way, they didn't occur very often and were spread out pretty wide. Nowadays, people fill entire podcasts with reports. If the dogman was real, it would have a much greater history of sightings, especially since sightings are reported all across the United States and even across the world.